Kevin Feige reveals how Gareth Edwards, the creator, inspired Marvel's new cost-cutting strategy after recent failures and production struggles. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. When the creator hit theaters in 2023, it wasn't just sci-fi fans paying attention. Turns out, even Marvel Studios was watching closely. Directed by Gareth Edwards, the same guy behind Rogue One and Jurassic World Rebirth, the film didn't break the box office or win over critics. But behind the scenes, it pulled off something magical, something that Marvel desperately needed. Kevin Feige, the mastermind behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is taking notes from unexpected places. He came across director Gareth Edwards, the creator, a movie that may not have pleased everyone with its storytelling, but it certainly turned heads with its jaw-dropping visuals and surprisingly lean budget. So now, despite being a divisive film, the creator impressed Hollywood insiders, including Kevin Feige, not with its box office, but with how much it accomplished for so little. Marvel Studios, which has faced criticism in recent years for its massive budgets and overloaded VFX, thus took notice. So much so that Kevin Feige and his team reportedly met with the creator's behind-the-scenes crew to better understand how the film delivered cinematic spectacle without breaking the bank. And now, Marvel is approaching its future by being smarter and more budget-conscious than ever. While some criticized the sci-fi movie for its storyline, pacing, and borrowing too much from older sci-fi classics, others praised it for its stunning visuals, creativity, and atmosphere. And in an age where Marvel was getting criticized for bloated CGI and overexpensive spectacles, this was the kind of inspiration the studio needed. So, Kevin Feige didn't just admire it from afar, he acted. The creator became a masterclass in doing more with less. The 2023 film delivered blockbuster-level visuals on a surprisingly tight budget. And according to Kevin Feige's discussion with Deadline, that was the kind of creative efficiency that made him sit up and take notes. Shot in Thailand with a minimal crew and relatively low budget, Gareth Edwards cooked and left Feige stunned. After learning from Gareth Edwards, Kevin Feige isn't pretending everything's been perfect. During his interview, he surprisingly admitted what many fans have been whispering: Marvel lost its way. After Avengers: Endgame, the studio expanded rapidly, introducing more shows, characters, and content than audiences could keep up with. The Marvel boss and his team reportedly sat down with the creator's production crew to learn how they managed to create something so polished without breaking the bank. This wasn't just curiosity, it was strategic. Marvel needed a new production plan after years of massive spending, inconsistent VFX quality, and the added costs of pandemic-era filming. Feige explained, "The movies made over the last 2 years have been upwards of a third cheaper than they were 2 years before that, i.e., Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America, Thunderbolts***, and Fantastic Four are all significantly cheaper than films from 2022 and 2023, and they would have been even cheaper if it wasn't for the strikes." Now, Marvel's playbook is changing. With Gareth Edwards' efficient filmmaking style as a model, the studio is dialing things down to a smarter level. The era of big budgets for every project is coming to an end. Now, his new game plan includes everything he has learned so far: don't fear experimentation, stay creative, but keep the budget low. By admitting where things went wrong and embracing new techniques, Kevin Feige is hinting that maybe Marvel's revival is possible, after all. Let us know in the comments what you think of Marvel Studios' future with this revamped strategy. So now, Kevin Feige admits that this overexpansion, although done with good intentions, ended up causing all the problems. Feige pointed to recent flops like Captain America: Brave New World, saying it struggled simply because fans missed Chris Evans. Meanwhile, Thunderbolts** introduced characters most audiences hadn't seen unless they watched several Disney Plus shows. Thunderbolts** was a very good movie, but nobody knew that title, and many of those characters were from shows. There was that residual effect of audiences going, "I guess I had to have seen these other shows to understand who this is?" But here's the thing, instead of sulking, Kevin Feige owned his mistakes and is now shifting gears. Claiming to be proud of the risks he took, even if they didn't work out well, Feige admitted that he'll keep on experimenting to help the studio evolve. And this time, learning from the creator and acknowledging his recent missteps, Feige is crafting a comeback strategy that could actually work. The Fantastic Four wasn't the MCU home run Kevin Feige hoped for, and that might force him to abandon a key strategy. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. The Fantastic Four was released on July 21, 2025, and debuted to $117.6 million at the domestic box office. However, it saw a massive 80% drop on its second Friday, via Variety, grossing only $11 million. The publication predicted that the movie was struggling to connect with the general audience. The Fantastic Four was released in theaters last month, but despite positive reviews, it suffered a huge box office drop in its second week. According to a report from Deadline, the movie saw a 66% drop at the domestic box office during its second weekend. As a result, experts predict Kevin Feige might have abandoned the idea of attracting general audiences after the Fantastic Four's massive slump at the box office. General audiences are saying that more of the same, even when well-made and well-received, is not necessarily enough to get folks in theaters. Expert Brandon Katz of Greenlight Analytics and Observer made the above comment regarding the movie's box office struggles, via Screen Rant. Here is what could change at Marvel Studios as a result of the Fantastic Four's box office performance. Despite its wider appeal, the Fantastic Four is a fan-centric movie at its core, akin to some of the entries in the MCU's earlier phases. The second weekend drop was also not outside of expectations, with several movies in the post-Endgame era registering a drop of over 60%, via comicbook.com. Therefore, it is likely that the Fantastic Four was just the first step in the MCU's attempt to double down on satisfying its existing fans instead of appealing to the masses. The upcoming Avengers, Doomsday, which marks the return of X-Men franchise actors, further points to the MCU becoming more fan-centric and abandoning casual moviegoers. Starring Pedro Pascal in the lead role, the Fantastic Four introduces a new team of heroes and does not have any direct ties to the MCU's previous installment. Moreover, the movie received positive reviews, which makes its massive second weekend drop surprising. To recapture its earlier box office success, the franchise needs to prioritize quality over quantity and scale back on its yearly releases. Marvel Studios must focus on taking more creative risks with its projects and could look at the comics for some ambitious crossovers. The Fantastic Four has so far grossed $385.2 million across the globe, via the numbers, which isn't impressive given that the movie had wider appeal compared to some of the other recent MCU movies. As a result, Marvel's box office power seems to be dissipating. The upcoming Spider-Man, Brand New Day could be a great example of the same, as it aims to team up the web crawler with the Punisher. The MCU experienced its peak box office success in the build-up to Avengers, Endgame, which greatly benefited some of its riskier movies, such as Captain Marvel at the time. Even if the MCU makes more fan-centric movies, there needs to be an overall plan, and each subsequent installment should serve as a build-up, which might just reinvigorate the general audience's interest in the brand. What do you think of the MCU's recent box office struggles? Let us know in the comments. L.